You're watching DX Recaps, the place where we break down movies fast, clear, and spoiler-packed. Whether you missed it, forgot it, or just want a quick refresh, we've got you covered. Let's get into the story. It is said that there are hidden worlds beyond the limits of human perception. In one of these worlds, humans live side by side with giant, savage monsters. At the center of the desert stands a mystical tower, constantly surrounded by black clouds and lightning. Toward this tower sails a sand ship commanded by the admiral. Their journey is suddenly interrupted when a monster called Diablos bursts out of the dunes. It rams its massive body into the vessel. Trying to overturn it, the admiral rushes to the wheel, steering with all his strength until the ship finally escapes danger. But tragedy strikes. When the handler nearly falls overboard, the hunter jumps in to save her, only to fall himself. The ship sails on, leaving him stranded in the desert. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Captain Artemis and her team, Lincoln, Marshall, Dash, Steeler, and Axe, are searching the desert for a missing squad of soldiers. Their only leads are an SOS recording and tire tracks that mysteriously end as if the vehicle simply vanished. They also notice strange rock markers covered in unreadable symbols. Before they can investigate further, a dark storm races toward them at terrifying speed. Lightning strikes the stone markers, causing the symbols to glow. The soldiers pile into their vehicles, but no matter how fast they drive, the storm closes in, swallowing them whole. Their cars tumble violently as they're sucked into a portal, hurling them into another world. When the dust settles, the storm retreats into the sky above strange mountains and unfamiliar structures not shown on any map. Around them stretches a vast desert filled with endless dunes, though no such dunes should exist for 20 kilometers. All electronics are fried, even their compass is useless. They decide to navigate back using the sun. Then Axe makes a grim discovery: the missing team's vehicles. The soldiers' bodies lie nearby, charred beyond recognition, as if burned by something hotter than any flamethrower. Shattered glass litters the ground, proof that the sand was once melted by extreme heat. Spent bullets tell them the soldiers fought desperately before being wiped out by an unseen enemy. Uneasy, the squad climbs back into their cars, unaware they are being watched through a spyglass by the stranded hunter. Soon, they come across something even more shocking: the skeleton of a beast larger than any dinosaur. Suddenly, Hunter fires an arrow at them. The soldiers retaliate with gunfire until Artemis halts them after noticing the arrow is coated only with chalk, a warning. That's when Diablos explodes out of the sand and charges. The team flees in their jeeps, but nothing they fire affects the monster. It slams into a vehicle, flipping it violently and killing Axe. Steeler barely escapes but is impaled moments later, sacrificing himself with grenades that barely slow the beast. The survivors scramble into rocky terrain as Hunter shoots smoke arrows to distract Diablos. The monster finally gives up when it can't squeeze into the narrow cave the team hides in. Inside, Dash panics, but Artemis rallies the squad, urging them to stay strong and fight like soldiers. Her words are cut short when a spider-like monster called Nasilla drags her away. Injected with paralyzing venom, she collapses. The others try CPR, but with more Nasillas emerging at nightfall. They're forced to leave her behind, assuming she's dead. Hunter assists them from afar with explosive arrows, but one by one, the team is slaughtered. Marshall is captured, Dash falls, and Lincoln barely escapes while Artemis, still alive, awakens inside a sticky cocoon in the monster's nest. Fighting through pain, she rips herself free, only to find the bodies of Dash and Marshall trapped in cocoons around her. Artemis scavenges supplies from a pouch, bullets, flares, and an oxygen canister. Lighting a flare for protection, she finds Lincoln injured and infected with spider eggs. He begs her to leave, but before she can save him, a Nasilla drags him away. Artemis battles another with fire, setting the entire nest ablaze. Using the exploding bullets as makeshift bombs, she barely escapes into daylight, safe from the monsters that can't stand the sun. Badly wounded, she cauterizes her injury with gunpowder and a spark. Pushing forward, she spots the storm on the horizon, the only way home, but first, she tests the sand. Tossing a rock draws Diablos back out, confirming the monster lurks beneath. Later, she stumbles across a wrecked ship. Searching for supplies, she's ambushed by the hunter. A brutal hand-to-hand fight erupts. Both are highly skilled. Artemis even stabs him with his own knife. but he ultimately subdues her and drags her to his cave, refusing to share food or water. As the spiders scratch outside, Hunter prays to small figurines while Artemis secretly cuts her ropes with a shard of glass. By morning, she ambushes him and ties him up, but when she destroys his altar out of frustration, he attacks again. Their struggle spills outside, almost dropping him into the Nasilla nest. Instead of letting him fall, she saves him. Realizing they must work together, Artemis offers him chocolate as a peace gift. Hunter accepts, and in return, shares his water. The two uneasy allies set off together, toward the storm, and the tower that holds the key to survival. They manage to talk a little and realize they both want to go back into the storm. The problem is, Diablos is in the way. Artemis suggests returning to her military vehicles to grab the weapons, but Hunter disagrees. Guns won't work on monsters. Instead, he takes her to the entrance of the Nasillus' nest and explains his idea. If they kill a spider and take its poison, they can use it to defeat Diablos. Artemis agrees, calling it using a monster to kill another monster, and reluctantly accepts to be the bait. As the sun sets, she stands in the rocky area and sings an army song to lure Nasilla. The plan works. When one of the spiders shows up, Artemis runs toward the trap. The creature steps on a rope and gets caught, giving Hunter the chance to leap down with his giant sword and slice its head in half. They also cut off its stinger and hurry back to the lair before more spiders arrive. At the cave, after sharing a brief lighthearted moment, Hunter shows Artemis that his figurines represent his family, who are now dead. The next day, they start preparing. They wrap the inside of the stinger around an arrow, build a trap at the shipwreck, and Hunter gives Artemis armor and weapons to train with. One is like a grappling hook, and the other is a pair of dual blades that ignite when pressed together. When it's time to put the plan into action, things go well at first. They use a makeshift catapult to launch a keg, which lands in the dunes and lures Diablos out at a safe distance. Artemis and Hunter sprint toward her army vehicles, but the monster burrows underground and forces them to stop. Hunter decides to be the bait while Artemis retrieves her weapons. But during his run, he drops the pouch with his family figurines. When he turns back to grab it, Diablos bursts out of the sand and knocks him down. Hunter wastes no time and shoots the venomous arrow into Diablos' eye, enraging the beast and making it charge faster. Artemis distracts it with the vehicle's machine gun, but the bullets do little damage. The venom starts taking effect, but Diablos still manages to flip the car while Artemis hides inside. She escapes and the monster continues to chase her, giving Hunter the chance to jump on its head and stab his sword deep into it. Unfortunately, it doesn't go in far enough, and Diablos throws him off, slamming him against another car. Artemis refuses to give up. She fires her hook at the monster's head and gets lifted with it. This allows her to land on top and drive the sword deeper, finishing what Hunter started. Finally, Diablos is dead, since Hunter is unconscious. Artemis gathers supplies from the wrecked cars and cuts a piece of Diablos' tough hide to make a stretcher, dragging Hunter across the desert. Hours later, strong winds pick up, so Artemis sets up a tent around them and uses her emergency kit to keep his heart beating. The sandstorm buries them under a dune, but thanks to the tent they both survive and manage to climb out. After another long trek, they reach an oasis. The place is filled with turtle-like creatures called apsaros, which Hunter explains are harmless herbivores. But when Artemis approaches the water, a monster called Cephalos jumps out to attack. Hunter kills it with a swift sword strike, and later they roast it for dinner. As night falls, the peace is broken when the oasis is set ablaze. A massive fire-breathing wyvern called Rathalos attacks, causing the apsaros to stampede. Hunter slips away, but Artemis falls among the stampeding herd. Just as she's about to be crushed, a figure appears, the Admiral, swinging a flaming sword to protect her. Artemis activates the fire on her dual blades and joins him, while Hunter nearly falls off a cliff but is saved by Handler, who pulls him up with a rope. When the stampede ends, Artemis thanks the Admiral, but he suddenly knocks her out. She wakes inside a cage on a ship, guarded by his crew. Hunter visits, feeling guilty but unable to help. After he leaves, Artemis notices a hatch on the cage floor. Using a bench, she breaks the lock and sneaks into the kitchen, but is caught by the Admiral's Palico, a cat-like chef. Before she can fight back, Hunter arrives with good news: she's free now. Hunter takes her to see the Admiral, who apologizes and removes her shackles. He explains that he fears her world and its effect on theirs. She isn't the first outsider to arrive here. The Admiral learned her language from previous visitors. The source of all this chaos is the Sky Tower, an ancient remnant of a powerful civilization. It controls the storm and creates unstable gateways between worlds. Those ancients destroyed themselves with their own technology, and the Admiral suspects Earth may be involved. The crew is heading to the Sky Tower, but Rathalos stands in their way. The Admiral offers Artemis a deal: help them defeat the Wyvern, and they'll help her return home. She agrees. At dawn, they begin the climb and reach the lava-fueled Sky Tower, which powers the storm and its portal. Signs of Rathalos appear, glass shards scattered on the ground. The Admiral reminds them that the Wyvern is vulnerable right before it breathes fire. The crew prepares, and soon Rathalos lands, burning several of them before blocking the path to the tower. The Admiral attacks first, followed by Artemis and Hunter with flaming weapons. Despite their efforts, the damage isn't enough. Rathalos chases Artemis, forcing her to leap off a cliff, and she falls through a portal back into her own world. There, a rescue team finds her, saying they've been searching for her unit. They put her on a stretcher and load her onto a plane. But before long, the storm reappears, and Rathalos bursts into her world. The monster destroys the plane and slaughters the soldiers, unaffected by their bullets. Artemis survives the crash and comes up with a desperate plan. Grabbing 2 flares, she hooks herself to Rathalos' wing and stabs it with a knife. As it prepares to burn her alive, she lights a flare and throws it into its mouth, burning it from the inside. But even that isn't enough to kill it. Just as Rathalos rises for another attack, Hunter appears and fires explosive arrows, one hitting the wound from the flare. That final blast kills the beast at last. The Admiral arrives and explains they came because they couldn't let the monsters destroy her world. The Sky Tower has opened another portal, and a creature called Gore Magala now sits atop it. Artemis decides to return with them to end this once and for all. She, Hunter, and the Admiral push the monster back into its own world, joined in the fight by the Palico chef. Meanwhile, a mysterious cloaked figure watches silently from the top of the tower. And that's a wrap on today's recap. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a plot twist. Got a movie you want recapped? Drop it in the comments below. This is DX Recaps. See you in the next one.